All right, it's Random Rambling Wednesday time.
Hey, man, how you doing? I'm a little stopped up. I apologize.
You sound stopped up, man. You okay?
Yeah, I'll be all right.
There's actually a story on why JP is stopped up we'll talk about here in just a few minutes. But before we begin, slight introduction. I feel like most people listening to this listen to our podcast pretty regularly. But if you are new to the channel, my name is Justin.
Yeah, I'm JP.
And we are the Podcasting Dead. Don't let the name fool you. We talk about a lot more than The Walking Dead, but obviously we do talk about The Walking Dead quite a bit. So consider hitting that subscribe and like button. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us out. And if you don't really like us that much and you don't want to be bothered by new videos, then just don't hit the bell. But if you do want to be kept up to date with new video posts, make sure to hit the bell if you're watching on YouTube. And yeah, stay tuned till after the podcast for social media info. JP, why are you still on your phone?
Well, I was looking for this story I wanted to talk about the Ninth Circle and this guy that got suicided on Periscope.
JP got an iPhone X finally. He's had an iPhone 5S, right? Was it a 5S or just a 5?
A 5S.
A 5S, seriously, for the longest time. And now he's got an iPhone X. And I don't blame him. I'm the same way when I get a new phone, but he has just not been able to put that thing down. Does it just feel good in your hand? You're just marveling over the new technology?
Actually, that's the one thing I don't like about it. It's a little bigger than I would like.
Oh, yeah, the iPhone 5S, man, that was like one of my favorite phones ever. Like the most perfect size phone. Not too big, not too small.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not watching movies on my phone, you know. I don't
try to
need
hold this thing. I've got the Galaxy 8 Plus,
yeah.
And it's not much wider than yours, if it even is wider, but it's longer. So like when you're holding it up here, you'll realize you have to readjust your hand. It's first plus size phone I've ever gotten, and it'll be the last. I like smaller phone.
Yeah,
I have more trouble typing on a large screen than I do a small screen for whatever reason.
I want my thumb to be able to navigate anywhere on my phone, and this one I can't do it.
What kind of phone do you have out there in listener land? Comment in the bottom. Let us know what kind of cell phone you have.
Man, you know, I'm a big Periscope advocate. Apparently, people have been committing awful atrocities on Periscope for the world to see.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's talking about this 19-year-old girl committed suicide for 1,000 people watching on Periscope.
That's horrible.
A 19-year-old French woman jumped in front of a train south of Paris on Tuesday, taking her own life for 1,000 people on Periscope. And there was a rape on Periscope in Ohio, an assault on a drunken man in France.
People like that are going to get Periscope restricted to the point where because what JP loves so much about Periscope, and JP, you correct me if I'm wrong, it's just the freedom to say and do whatever. It's just a place where you can be you, and you don't have to worry about getting in trouble and restrictions and stuff, right? Like you can just be yourself, man, and chill with like-minded people. And now you're going to have people like that ruin it for everyone and either get it taken down or just completely restricted. I mean, it already gets to the point where, like, I was messing with you in one of them, and I said something. Well, actually, I don't know. It wasn't me. You were podcasting at your night job, and you talked about taking off your shirt, and somebody chimed in, take it off, and it asked me, I guess it set me as a moderator, asked me, was that an abusive comment?
Oh, really? I
swear. It said, is this comment abusive? Yes, no, I'm not sure. Something to that effect. And, of course, I clicked no. I should have clicked yes to keep you from taking your shirt off. But
well, and look at this. Teenager jailed for broadcast of girl's rape on Periscope.
Like who?
God,
with the girl that committed suicide, were the people encouraging her to do it?
The story didn't really say. I don't know, man. There's probably a mixed bag. Some people were probably like, no, you have so much to live for. And I'm sure there were still some people like, yeah, let's see you splat all over the track.
That's just terrible, man. I mean, like, I don't even know. People cease to amaze me.
A teenager has been sentenced to 9 months in jail for live streaming the rape of a 17-year-old girl. So he wasn't the one raping. He was just the one taping it or broadcasting it.
So his friend, I guess, was raping someone, and he just filmed it. Because I would hope that he didn't just happen upon it, and his first thought was, "Ooh, got to Periscope this."
Well, it was a girl that was periscoping it.
Wow!
Look at that. She initially faced other charges, including rape and pandering sexual matter involving a minor, after she filmed and broadcast the assault at a house in the city last year.
That's horrible. That's horrible. So your beloved Periscope is getting tainted.
So it seems.
I don't do as much Periscope. I mean, I really should, especially when we go like hiking and like we went to the graveyard the other day. Which, if you're listening to this, Jeep's one of our longtime listeners. She asked what we were just doing in a graveyard. Were we just casually strolling or whatever? And we'll address this again tomorrow in mail call. But pretty much like we were out doing sales calls and it was like lunch break time, and we didn't eat lunch, but I just had never checked out the big graveyard here in town, and we were right next to it. And I asked JP would he show me around, and he obliged.
Yeah, it sounds like this might be I don't know if it was like a non-consensual. It might just be a creepy old dude with a much younger chick. It might be a statutory, which is still still gross. But anyway, enough rape this morning. No, I was trying to find this story, man. This dude was like exposing sex traffickers and pedophiles like way up in society. He was a journalist or something, and he. Like I said, they kind of suicided him supposedly, and he was periscoping just before saying, I'm fine, I'm just this, that, and the other, and next thing you know, he's...
Was this a while back?
Jumping off a bridge.
How long ago was this?
I'm not sure.
Because I remember an old story where a guy had done something similar. I didn't know if it involved Periscope or not, but... Yeah, we're thinking about turning Random Rambling Wednesday into Woke Wednesday because somehow we always end up going into conspiracy stuff.
Yeah, or just doing like a separate something cool is in the works. We've been hyping it for a while. We've tweaked the idea a few times, and some cool stuff's coming down the track. I wish I was a little bit more. I wish I had my stuff pulled up this morning, but this was actually, I was telling you, a friend of mine, Alex. She's a wonderful person, a bartender not far from the house, also a nursing student, just awesome, really intelligent person, and she's onto a lot of stuff. Like we kind of trade ideas, like I turned her on to Admiral Byrd when it comes to flat Earth theory, which, by the way, doesn't give a lot of credence to, as opposed to myself.
Yeah, we'll get along great.
But she's really tapped into like what's going on with the Ninth Circle, like the global sex trafficking of minors by elites. She's also into it's a T cell, I think is what she said it was. It's like an unexplainable part of our genome, and it's not in every human. I mean, it literally is like alien. Like they can't explain it. It's not in everyone. It's just in a specific portion of the population, man. So yeah, I think if we can drag her in here, man, it would be.
Do you feel like? Do you feel like that's like our X gene? Like it's going to mutate one day and we're all going to get superpowers? Well, the people that have it are going to get superpowers?
The way it's explained, man, it definitely seems like it could be that. Like, or like, our alien overlords come back and they only get the people with this select genome. They're like, the rest of you humans can stay here and die in the global cataclysm that's to come. Everyone with this T cell, just come with us. We're going to party up on the mothership.
Maybe it's going to be one of those things where it's like the humans that have the gene as successfully proven they could interbreed with the aliens. You know what I mean? And it's like, so that's why they're going to take them. But enough conspiracy for the moment. We can get back to it. And enough of the phone. Let's talk about your personal life.
Why
are you stopped up?
Why are you stopped up? Talk about my personal
Tell us why you're stopped up.
Let's talk about your personal life.
Sure. What do you want to know?
I don't really know. I don't know.
I feel like a parent. I'm just going to be like.
And here, Periscope helped get inside the Syrian refugee story. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Ugh.
So why are you so stopped up this morning?
Yeah, I'm just a little, allergies and all this, that, and the other.
We'll put your phone down and then just pick it right. I've watched you do it like 3 times. You set it down like you're done, and then you pick it right back up, swipe it, and cut it on.
I'm just curious about this thing. I wish I could find the source. I'll do some.
We'll find the source, and then we'll do a separate podcast on that.
We'll
entirely focused. So how's life? How's the world treating you?
Life is fine. It's well enough. Ups and downs, highs and lows, peaks and valleys.
You said you feel sick this morning because the AC was so low in your house last night.
It was a little bit. Like I said, it's hard to maintain with window units.
How many window units do you have?
I got 2, one for each side of the house. My house, as you know, is a very strange format.
It is a really odd format. You walk into this little foyer, kind of like small walk-in that you used to see in a lot of older houses, and then it's weird. You got like 2 rooms like right there that, you know, I assume to the right would normally be a bedroom, which, I mean, because it was added on to, right? Is that why it's kind of...
They're both supposed to be bedrooms. They're the only rooms with a closet. But yeah, it's just a little shotgun mill house. In 65, they added on another side, so...
I'll take you through a virtual, like close your eyes, unless you're driving, and walk with me through JP's house. So you walk into a small little foyer, which is cool. I wish my house had a foyer. My house don't have any of that. A foyer is like...
Granted, my foyer is about the size of a coffin.
Well, you know, what was it? Rob Lowe's character on Parks and Rec said your foyer is the part of your house that is the most important, because when people walk in, it shows them everything about you, you know. But JP's got a foyer, and to the right is a bedroom, and to the left is now his comic room. Yeah. And then if you go into the comic room, so you're going left into the comic room, you go on through. Now that's the living room, in right behind that. And then if you keep going, you get to a bathroom and a storage closet, right?
Yeah.
Which actually
used to be a kitchen.
Yeah, which used to be a kitchen, the storage closet.
That little storage room. Yeah,
really?
It used to be the kitchen. Yeah, it used to just be 2 rooms that led into a little kitchen, and that was the house. Can you imagine that?
It is interesting to look at old houses that have been like added on to and imagine what it would have been like to have lived in it before it was added on to, you know.
Yeah, and check
houses
out
were a lot simpler then.
Tune into my Periscope. I'll give you a little house tour.
Oh, that'd be cool, yeah. So if you want a tour of JP's crib, will you do it MTV Crib style?
You know what? I certainly will.
Will you have myself or someone like outside, like come on your door and you act like you're being bothered and you're like, I wasn't ready for this. And
man, who was it? One of the Jackass guys that did a Cribs one time, and it was just like a shitty little apartment.
Oh man, it's Steve-O.
Was it Steve-O?
Steve-O had a really crappy little apartment. I can't remember what Chris Pontius had, but I know Redman. You know, Method Man or Redman. Redman lived at a house, you know, granted it wasn't all just for show, but he lived at a straight up regular house in a regular neighborhood. And I mean, it had a few little cool things, but I mean, it was no crazy big Olympic sized pool. And I mean, it just was a regular house. And I feel like if I got famous, I feel like I would have a nice size house, but I don't think it would be extremely big. I think the only thing extravagant that I would like a pool. But at this point in this scenario, I'm rich enough to pay someone to maintain the pool, so it's not a hassle. Every time I say I want a pool, someone's like, man, you just don't understand all the why. I get that. In this scenario, I'm rich enough that I just pay somebody to come over and maintain it.
All that stuff.
Yeah, just get someone else to do it. And I would love a little 2-lane bowling alley. Because there's nothing much better than a full pitcher of beer and bowling. And keep in mind that I'm awful at bowling.
I was going to tell you're balling hard now, man.
Yeah, and maybe my house would be huge because I would have to I would love a pool room.
Yeah.
All of this is hypothetical, though. Like, I'm perfectly happy with my little regular-sized house that I live in now.
But, you know, it's good to dream.
Yeah, I mean, you can have all these things that you want. One of my best friends in high school, his dad is rich. And when I say rich, I mean he's rich. I mean, he has like a MTV Cribs mansion-style home. And, of course, after we've grown up and I no longer am at the house all the time. I mean, like, the house was so big we could sneak out of it so easy because of the parent. I mean, it was like on a whole other side of the world. You know what I mean? It just was so big. But and all this land and had a pond. But, of course, after we're grown up and I'm no longer there, they install a super nice pool in the back.
Okay.
Like, wow, where was that during my teenage years when we were sneaking girls over and stuff?
No kidding.
Damn. But yeah, it really was like MTV Crib style house. I bought my first Honda Civic from that man.
Huh.
It had like 220,000 miles on it. But man, I'm going to tell you what, I ran that sucker to almost 300,000 miles. And word on the street is that bad boy is still running. It's been sold to 2 or 3.
The whole thing.
Yep.
Wow.
I never replaced the engine. I bought it and had 200 and something, like a little over 200,000 miles on it. I put it close to 300. Well, maybe not 300. I probably put it up like to 280, something like that. And then, because I had it for a few years, and then the guy bought it for me and then sold it to someone else. And I don't know if it ended up getting scrapped or what, but somebody told me a while back that they thought it was still. But even still, man, it got well over 300,000 miles and still ran fine. It actually was still fast as hell, too. Mm-hmm. Like, that thing would scoot. I did a little bit of little engine tweaking to it. But
yeah, man, Hondas run forever, that's for sure.
Hondas and Toyotas, man. My buddy had a Toyota Corolla or Camry one. It was an old one, but until a tree fell on it, That sucker had hundreds of thousands of miles and had no issues.
Tell you, man, I think Hondas have like arc reactors built in or something. I don't know.
It's a good thought.
Yeah. Man, are we going to do a separate podcast on our voodoo discovery, or you think we should just talk about it now?
Let's just get into it now.
Oh, dude.
Hopefully Jeep's listening so we can answer questions on why we were at a graveyard. Number one, JP and I both just love history. Like, we both just find it fascinating to, just explore. And JP, if you listen to a podcast a while back, there's a song called Me and JP.
Yeah.
And if you're new to the podcast or you didn't catch that one, you should, number one, go look it up. It's by our good friend Matt Crowder, written about him and JP, and it's loosely based on a true story of JP trying to dig up some treasure.
Yeah.
We'll say. And the story, it's exaggerated and stuff in the song, but so I just told JP, that song, it's so catchy. That's why I want you to go listen to it. You'll be singing it to yourself. But I just was singing it. We were riding around doing cold call sales for the radio station, and it got stuck in my head. And I was like, man, I want to go see that graveyard that's got all like all of the graves, got Confederate graves and just some really old stuff. So JP took me and kind of gave me a little tour.
Yeah, and we came across something that still got me creeped out. It was very voodoo-ish. And
it was a lot of it, too.
Yeah.
It wasn't like just finding one little thing. I mean, this was like a whole ceremony had taken place.
Yeah, it was like a family grave plot, really old. We're talking going back to like the 1800s, and I mean, they had some kind of weird doll, and they had jars containing different things. One of them looked like it had a bag, possibly with cocaine in it, which leads me to, they might have been trying to summon a voodoo demon, kind of like in that American Horror Story Coven. So.
There were like little skulls laying everywhere.
Yeah, little skulls, like not
weird
like
symbols.
When we say little skulls, we're not talking about like baby skulls. They were like little metal like ball skulls.
Yeah. And we saw a couple of weird little symbols and like carvings, and one of them was almost like a little wooden coin that had this really weird carving with like an arrow on it. And I don't know, we really maybe we should. I don't know if we have time, but maybe we'll post the pictures on our Facebook, and you can go find the Podcasting Dead Facebook and take a look. And if you know anything about voodoo or magic or whatever, or just weird things people do at graveyards, maybe you could give us a little backstory on what it is, because I mean it was, like I said, it wasn't just one thing. I mean, it was stuff strange, and it was all in this one little plot. One of the names on the graves I think said Berkeley.
That sounds right.
Berkeley was one of them, but there were some different last names in that. But it was weird because it was all just done in this one little squared off plot. Like this one little plot where all this was happening had like little cement markers going around it, squaring it off with a bunch of different graves inside of it, a couple of kids' graves too, like, really little kids. And it was all in this little plot.
Yeah, man, it's wild. It really makes you think about the infant mortality back then. I mean, so many babies and, young kids just dropping.
That's what you and I were talking about going through the grave. Is that's crazy to think that back, not too long ago, the average life expectancy was 35, and that's not saying that most people just lived to 35 and dropped dead. But you have to take, when you talk about an average, you have to take into account all of the infant mortality, all of the people that were killed in duels, and just all these people that died young for many different reasons back in that day. I mean, most people still lived to be, old. We saw gravestones from the 1800s. Remember, one of them was like 70, 80 something years old from the 1800s. But, I mean, it also, you have to factor in all of the deaths of people that died giving birth. Back in those, nowadays, things that doctors look at and are like, oh, we're going to have to do it different because this is happening. That was a death sentence back in the day,
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, can you imagine just like you're having a baby and a doctor comes to your house and all he's got's like, tongs and a bowl of water maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't much more than that, I guess. I don't know. But, ooh. That stuff's rough enough as it is, but just,
But it was really cool. There's a lot of mausoleums, which are creepy when you think about it. I mean, they're not creepy to the family, I suppose, if you want to go. But, like, one of the mausoleums was really, really nice, and it was old. I mean, hell, the lock on the gate was rusted through. So, I mean, it's been there for a hot minute. But what's crazy to think was outside the mausoleum, there was like two stone benches carved into like the design, but also there was a bench inside the mausoleum. So you open the gate and you go sit on this bench right beside 6 dead bodies.
Yeah, really weird. I wonder how many people. I know, like down in New Orleans, they still do the mausoleums because the sea level's so high or low or whatever. But I wonder how many people actually still invest in mausoleums. You know, is that still like a fashionable thing to do?
It's got to be crazy expensive. I mean, they got to cost like a small. I mean, they probably the same price as my house.
Yeah, I mean, just getting buried is expensive enough, but like building a mausoleum, get out of here.
To hold, and most of them on average held 6 people. You know, like it was, and I don't know much. So if you're like, duh, mausoleums are made to hold, I don't know much about mausoleums, but. And it's just crazy. So, like, it was a bench on the inside. So clearly, you know, someone who might be mourning or just wanted to go visit the graves would go sit on the bench, you know, and just kind of grieve or whatnot, talk to them. But it's locked now. So what if, like, that family wanted to come sit there again? Do you think, like, the family has the key? Or, like, the city has the key to that mausoleum?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Pretty much all of them were locked up, and I just wonder if they didn't do that to stop people from, you know, like maybe the family put the lock and chain on there to stop people from desecrating the graves, or if maybe the city did it and gave the family a copy of the key, or if the city just locked it up and was like, all right, that's been generations ago. You have no reason to go in there related to them or not, which I couldn't imagine they would do. Somebody paid a lot of money for that. And they paid extra money to have a bench put on the inside of the mausoleum. So I wonder how someone, and you were pointing it out, you're like, just think, you turn those 2 little knobs and pull, and out comes a casket with a body in it.
Cool, man. Yeah, no, I mean, just, you know, bones. I mean, no worms, like, eating away, no soil decomposition. Just, like, totally preserved.
I've always said I kind of wouldn't mind being cremated, or being buried. Spoiler alert, but God, the show's been off the air for like 10 years, so tough thing. But 6 Feet Under, if you ever plan to watch that show, you might want to tune out for a few seconds. But I wouldn't mind being buried like Nate was, like a natural, where they just wrap you up in a cloth and just put you in the ground, no casket, nothing. Your body just goes back to being one with the earth, you know?
Yeah, that was a cool idea. I think I'll probably donate to science, you know?
Really?
Yeah, man. Just
my sister says she wants to do that. Now, whether she's actually taken the steps to make it happen, I don't know. But I
haven't taken any steps.
My closest sister, she's she goes went to nursing school, and she works with in the medical field with older people and stuff. And she said she wanted to donate her body to science.
Yeah, I mean, for one thing, it's totally free for the family. If they can't use your body, they just cremate it, and I don't know what they do with the ashes. But
I'd imagine they probably give the ashes back to the family, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they might. I don't know, but. Yeah, and I mean, it kind of serves a purpose, you know?
Yeah, I mean, your body could be the body that the world's greatest surgeon may train on your body, you know what I mean? And you've contributed to them, you know what I mean? So I understand that, the grand scheme of, you know, playing a big role in science and discovery. I mean, it's a very honorable thing to do.
Yeah, and like I said, just more than anything, it's free, you know?
How into it are you? Donate your body to science now while you're still alive.
I mean, and believe me, we should all make these preparations, but I think I'd put it in writing.
I don't know.
It also kind of scares you in a way, because that sort of almost gives the hospital, say you're in kind of a vegetative state, you know, and they're just like, well, we can go ahead and get this body, so, you know, why don't we just kind of go ahead and, you know, take him downstairs and gut him? And I don't know, man.
Yeah, I've always thought that with organ donors and stuff like that. I mean, it's always been sorry, I got good sleep last night. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. There's always the rumor mill that if you're an organ donor and you're barely clinging on, sometimes the hospital will just go ahead and let you die to get your organs, or they'll harvest them before you're really fully gone. So I've been hearing, I don't know how true any of that is. You know, just you've heard that your whole life, and it could easily just be urban myths, but it always makes you wonder.
I've heard from nurses that say if you're in comfort care, there's no recovery, your body's just slowly, you know, just shutting down. They will kind of speed up the process and just get you down there and gut you to get your organs while they're still viable.
Wow.
So, I've heard, I was told that by nurses in the hospital. So
I've heard of people in our area dying and donating, being an organ donor, and one person I was told they basically under the whatever they were wearing, there was nothing, no skin, no organ, it was God. They pretty much all, I mean, eyes, everything were taken out. So basically all you're left with is just from the chest up, and then the rest is it's presentation for the funeral. But And I mean, it's great to think that all that goes to save lives because you obviously don't need it anymore. But it's just something eerie about it. You know what I mean? Just something that just kind of makes your skin crawl when you think about that.
I always think about like the waiting room in a Beetlejuice. You remember? And, like,
oh man, that movie when I was a kid, that movie creeped. I loved it, but it creeped me out.
But just people like still kind of in the state they were when they died, and just wondering, you're gonna go to that next place like without, like intestines and eyes and whatever. I don't know.
Would you need them?
I don't know.
Well, eyes.
Yeah, you might need the eyes.
Obviously, but if you're dead, do you really need your intestines? They're just kind of a hindrance.
I mean, well, if they take your penis for a penis transplant.
Do they do that?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Like, is there someone walking around with a dead man's penis?
It seems like it'd be plausible. I mean, it's an organ,
when you
right?
think about it, it's an organ, and if somebody's dead and someone's lost it, it would make life a lot easier.
But no, man, we were talking the other day, man. It'll be a beautiful thing when they can just grow all these organs in a lab and won't even have to worry about it, I
mean, they grew Mr. Garrison's penis on a rat, so,
yeah. It was a great penis.
That way it was. It got the whole town up and moving.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I love South Park. But yeah, I don't know, man. The science thing is definitely admirable. It just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see which way it goes. But,
so have you had any weird things happen to you? We really didn't. God have mercy. Thank God this is random rambling and it's just more free form here. But
yeah, no kidding.
What have you had anything weird happen to you? We didn't really disturb any of the stuff. I know that JP. What did you do? You messed with one thing, but you didn't like truly mess with it. Like you didn't disturb it. I think, was it the jar on top of the grave? You just picked it up and looked at it?
There was a jar, and it was hard to tell what was in it. To me, it looked like crumbled up cigarettes, like tobacco and the white paper. And it might not have been that at all, but the jar lid was like, it was sealed with some kind of fabric to where it would kind of release the smell a little bit, I guess you could say. Kind
of like those things, like the jars you buy that have that film that have like once you pull the strip out or whatever and you set it down, it just filters a smell like for a bathroom or your home or whatever.
Porous.
Right. So yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's very porous. So I don't know, nothing weird happened to you? Because I mean, I've always heard you're not supposed to take anything, and we didn't take. I mean, there was at least like $3 and change laying around on certain graves too. We didn't even take a penny.
No, I won't try to do that. But yeah, I think there might have been some dope in one of those jars. It was a Ziploc baggie, kind of folded up, and that like I said, it might be trying to summon a voodoo demon.
You think that's why you're sick this morning?
Could be the work of the voodoo people.
Well, they're like, he touched our cocaine.
No,
now we're gonna mess with his.
If I was gonna get the curse, I might as well just opened it up and did the cocaine. If I'm gonna get the curse anyway, I might as well have a little bit of fun before Papa Goo Goo comes and rips my tongue out or whatever he does. Makes me steal newborn babies for the rest of my life or whatever.
Hell, with the heroin epidemic we got going on around here, it could have been heroin.
Could have been heroin. Could have been some meth.
Oh,
who knows?
JP and I finally got back in the gym yesterday.
Yeah.
And we did good. A couple of weeks ago, we got back into the gym and we went too hard at it. I mean, we worked out for, I did like 4 straight years of only missing days here and there. And JP was in there for like a good 2.5, right? Missing every now and again. But I mean, pretty steady for about a good 2.5 years. And then we just stopped. And like, really, it was like last summer that we stopped. So we were coming up on like a year of not steadily going to the gym.
Something like that, yeah.
And it was funny because we went about a month or so back and I tried to take it easy, but what we did, I thought we were taking it easy, but we weren't. We pretty much were working out just about the same intensity as we would have been. But
right.
And so we were just like, my arms were useless for a couple of days, and not the good kind of, that's the good burn. No, I'm talking like, my elbow, my joints were hurting. Like it was definitely worked too hard. And so, and I feel like our form was still right. I mean, that's always been my biggest thing with weightlifting. Like, I don't really worry so much about heavy weights as I do like having correct form, because I've always been taught you'll gain far more from correct form and decent weight than you will terrible form and just trying to lift the heaviest stuff you can. But so like a month later, we finally go back to the gym yesterday, and I think we did it just right. Like we went very light on arms, but we did a full arm workout, shoulder, tricep, bicep, and then we spent some time on the ellipticals and did like a little ab routine. And I'm just sore enough to know that I worked out, and it feels good. Like it's that good burn where when you go to sit up, your core's a little tight, and you're like, oh, man.
Yeah.
But not the painful ligament joint discomfort. I'm very happy with the way that worked out.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling good today. Like I said, like I'm tight, but I'm not, dying on the inside. I mean, I am dying on the inside, but for a whole other set of reasons. But no,
spiritually,
man,
you're dying on the inside.
Oh yeah, as are we all.
But yeah, I mean, like last time, I was so bad I couldn't even hardly. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I couldn't hardly bend my elbows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just went too hard for being so long out of the gym. So it felt good to get in there and do it right this time. Like my arms are sore, but it's a good burn. My elbows aren't sore. My joints are good.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it has been about a year. I guess it was about the time they kind of heaped some new responsibilities into your job description and kind of.
Pretty much, yeah. That was like last April, I think. So yeah, it's right around a year that I didn't. Because before then, we were still pretty regular. I mean, we might not have, because for a while I was straight up like 4 or 5 days a week. But I know we were at least 2 or 3 days a week in the gym.
Yeah, I mean,
for a long time.
We fell off somewhere around the holidays, but other than that, I mean, yeah, it was pretty consistent.
I mean, we would usually. The one thing we skimped out on that we are not going to skimp out on this time. Say it with me.
Oh, geez.
Leg day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Like, we went a while without doing legs.
Yeah, man. And now that I've got my skimpy shorts I got to wear, my legs need to be on point.
We stopped at Ross's yesterday because JP didn't bring gym. Well, you didn't. Your gym shorts, you had cut grass in them. They were dirty, and your dryers messed up, so you hadn't had a chance to really wash them. So JP, kazoo tight, was like, I need to stop and buy some gym shorts. So we went to Ross's, and he got. They look like the yellow gym. I thought they were yellow in the movie, but they look like the gym shorts Michael Cera is wearing on Juno. And I'm pretty sure they were yellow. It was like yellow, I think. But anyways, I thought they were going to be super short. But they weren't too short, and they definitely had that vintage kind of, retro gym style. JP was definitely looking very unique in the gym yesterday.
Yeah, they were Pumas, and I don't know, man. Like when we got back, I walked over to the comic shop for a minute, and I just looked down. I'm just kind of like, you can kind of see the outline of my cock a little bit in these shorts. I think I'll save them for the gym, and just because in the gym it's fine to show off your dick a little bit. Well, maybe it's fine, but
I don't think it is.
It's more acceptable than than a retail store.
Is it? I don't think it is.
I've showed my dick off.
I don't think showing off your penis in any public place is acceptable unless it's like a sex club.
I've done it in a shop. I've done it in the gym. I've done it in a library. A couple other places I won't mention. And, definitely the most acceptable places in the gym. You can play it off better.
You're going to hear boo, woo, woo outside. We got the confessions.
Oh, boy. But, yeah, you can play it off a lot better in the gym. And that's all I mean.
I'm just flexing.
Yeah, I'm just flexing. That's all, baby.
Oh, man, yeah. And what did you get at the comic shop yesterday?
Black Hammer number 10, I think it is. So now I've got 2 more I got to track down.
A great series that I am going to drop probably because somebody put an order wrong, and I'm missing like the last 3 or 4 issues.
We got ginger problems at the comic shop. But that's
I don't think that has anything to do with it, but
does it? I don't
It was such a good series though, because like you had the Black Hammer, and then it's Black Hammer: Age of Doom, which has been continuing the story, and it's a great story by Jeff Lemire. I think it's safe to say one of our favorite authors. I mean, you know a lot more of these authors by name, so you probably have some few that some, but I think he's definitely in your top, right?
Yeah,
He'd definitely be like in your top 5, top 10, somewhere in that range. But it's Black Hammer: Age of Doom, and it's so good. I mean, it's just kind of like a parody, but not really a parody of like all of your favorite. It's really good. It pays homage, but it's very unique at the same time. If that makes any sense.
I'm telling you, man, I've never met a ginger who didn't wrong me on some level.
Is that right?
I'll just leave it at that.
Is that right?
Yeah, man. Some of my first loves were ginger gals,
and they did you wrong.
Did me wrong.
Oh man, do you want to talk about it? I can drag my couch in here, and you can like lay back and tell me your problem.
I was a young lad, and they just gobble up that man meat and move on to the next victim.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Gobble up the man meat.
Yeah.
So is that to say that you don't have, like, they took your man meat?
Well,
They
that's
just
back
gobbled it up?
That's back when I had genuine feelings, you know.
Back when you were a real person?
Right. Back before I was hollowed out.
Right. Oh, young JP was heartbroken.
Yeah, but
We've all been there, brother. It doesn't really stop through life.
Yeah, well,
You'll find more heartbreak as you get older.
Well, I ain't finding no more gingers, I'll tell you that much. Although the ginger over there is kind of cute, I won't lie.
You're talking about?
I think we can both admit that. Okay, it's a cute.
I mean,
ginger
dudes don't float my boat, so
I'm just speaking in the.
I'm sure when he hears this, he's going to love it.
In the grand sense.
Okay, well, hey, it's going to be a little awkward if he hears this and the next time you walk over there, but you know,
that'll be all right.
I will enjoy watching the awkwardness.
Yeah, you know, you're wonderful people, but you know, sometimes things get put in the wrong hole, the wrong slot, and you know, we're kind of.
Only JP could take us talking about not getting a comic and turn it sexual. That's a true talent, my friend.
Yeah, I wish my thoughts were more clear this morning. I just kind of started on something.
Life's been changing really fast for you here lately.
No, life is life. You know, it goes.
It's been
this
moving
way, it goes
fast.
that way.
That's why your thoughts can't get together. I mean, you're experiencing all new things
I may
that you've never experienced before.
I may be heading coastal soon, perhaps.
For what? Just going on a little vacay?
Just to paddle out into the ocean. I want to be like Ari. I just want to head west and see what's out there.
Well, make sure that you take, a Wi-Fi card, a laptop, and a mic so we can continue to podcast.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the ginger.
I need the beach in my life too, man. Like my girlfriend and I and our friends, we go every single summer. And this summer she doesn't want to go because we have a newborn, but the baby was born about a month earlier. So now I'm trying to tell her, look, we didn't want to go because we thought the baby would only be like a month or two old, but now the baby will be 3 or 4 months old when we go, and I damn sure was being taken to the beach at 3 or 4 months old. So I'm trying to make this. I mean, we're going in the fall regardless, but I'm trying to go in the summer, man. I love the beach, and really any beach makes me happy. Ocean, lakes, and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina makes me the happiest, but it's just because it's a nostalgic thing. I grew up there, and yada yada yada. Right. But it's so, isn't it weird? That's just the way that we feel about certain places and stuff. I know it's just a nostalgia, but part of me almost wonders, like, did I die there in a past life, or why am I so drawn to this one place? Because there's plenty of other nostalgic places that I mean, it isn't like this place is somewhere that I only go, I go multiple times a year. So, I mean, that thirst is quenched, but yet I still want more. Whereas there's plenty of other nostalgic places that, going there brings me back, but I'm not craving it. It makes me wonder, like, did I drown there? Did I used to? Maybe I'm one of the former creators reincarnated.
Dude, this shit could turn into like The Shining Part 2, you know what I'm saying? Like you take your family down there, you want to finish your novel, and next thing you know, you're chasing them around with an axe.
Oh, I hope not.
And then we find a photograph where like the maitre d' from like 1909 looked just like you.
I wouldn't have a need for an axe down there, so it'd probably be like a sand sculpting shovel.
Right.
One of those little plastic shovels in a bucket.
In which case, they wouldn't even run from you. They'd just be like, Justin, just stop.
Put it down.
Stop it.
Break it over like one of their heads, and they're like, are you done now?
Yeah.
Damn it. Metal beach chair it is.
Oh, boy.
But, yeah, what do you think about just going completely in another direction here, because that's just the way this one particular podcast works. What do you think about past lives? That's what I find fascinating is reincarnation, because some are obviously hoax, but there's some things that people know and have proven that it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's very very curious, man. I don't adhere to it personally. I think if there is any kind of like life after death or whatever, I think it's just one big loop. I think you get to the end, and the irony is you just start right back over, born into the same life, go through all the doubts and fears and joys and blah, blah, blah.
You don't think that perhaps we go through the same life and we grow? Like we repeat the same life, but, what if that's what deja vu is? Like, what if we die and then we're born again into the same life? It's just a constant cycle. And then what happens is that, like deja vu might be a scenario that we, maybe that's a critical point where we're supposed to make a decision and gives us a chance to grow, which most of my deja vu happens not at meaningful times where I'm making the decision. It's like when I walk into Taco Bell or something and I'm like, I feel like I've been here before. Well, 3 other times this week, but I don't know, man. What do you think about that? I've got a pretty interesting book called Deja Vu, and it talks about how, obviously the scientific thoughts behind deja vu, like one eye picking up on what it's seeing before, like a millisecond before the other one does. So the brain experiences this, like I've been here before sensation, but really it's just one eye catching something a millisecond slower than the other one.
Yeah.
But then it also talks about that, like, like what if you're repeating life? And
yeah, man, I don't know. I'm also very interested in the idea that, like, our consciousness is transmitted, like our brain's just a receiver and our consciousness is transmitted from somewhere else.
So, like, our real selves are somewhere else and these are just kind of like our drones? And
maybe, yeah. And just when we die, we kind of go on to that next dimension. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's very thought-provoking.
I love it. Think. That's what people like to hear, man. Think. Yeah. Tell me your thoughts. You always have very good, you have really good, what's the word I'm looking for? You have a really good...
Buns?
Well, that. But you also have very good, damn it, I don't know why I can't think of what I'm trying to say this morning. Perspective, maybe? That's not what I'm trying to think. That's not what I'm trying to say, but it's similar. Like you really, I like hearing your thoughts on things. And inquisitive. You're very inquisitive.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to use words bigger than myself here.
Right. I've got a lot of questions, but no answers, brother.
I like to hear your thoughts on things like that.
No, man. I think it's real. And the idea, and I know we've talked about this before, that the DMT that a lot of people think are in our pineal gland, it releases when we die, and that's what ferries us to the next place. And if you smoke DMT or ingest it in ayahuasca, it kind of takes you there temporarily. I think it's very, like I said, I really want to do a DMT ceremony and get a taste of what's on the other side.
Have you ever read The Egg? It's a short story by Andy Weir, or Ware. It's Weir. I don't really know how you say his last name.
That's the family from Freaks and Geeks, isn't it?
Is it?
I think the Weir family.
God, it's been so long since I've watched that show.
I could be wrong.
But he wrote a short story called The Egg, and it's probably my favorite story ever written. It's a short story, but it deals with that. A guy dies, and he goes and has a conversation with God, but it's not the type of conversation you would think.
Right.
And it's got a cool revelation. It's just really good. It's older, but I mean, it's a really good short story. I remember I showed it to my dad, and being that I write, my dad was like, "This is the best thing you've ever written." I was like, No. I wish I wrote that. I didn't write that. I wish.
When do you know, like the time period it was written?
Let me see. I can definitely. I'll look it up right now.
I'm always curious, man. Like I got through a period for a while where I was reading all the like beatnik writers and writers of the 50s and 60s, Kerouac and all.
Oh, it's not as old as I thought.
Oh,
2009.
Oh no, that's not too old.
If we had more time, I would read it to you here on the podcast.
Ooh, I would love that. You
would love that?
I would.
I don't think you would want me to read that to you right here, but it is a phenomenal story. It's basically just taking the point of view of someone it's talking about someone who died, and now they're having a conversation with heaven, and I mean with God, not having a conversation with heaven. But it's awesome. Like I just love when he's like, what is this place? Is this the afterlife? And God's. It's basically the story's being told from the point of view of God. That's something I left out. God is the one telling the story, like to you. Like it's like I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says you were on your way home when you died. It was a car accident, nothing particularly remarkable, but fatal nonetheless. You left behind a wife and 2 children. It was a painless death. The EMTs tried their best to save you, but to no avail. Your body was so utterly shattered, you were better off. Trust me. And that's when you met me. What happened? What happened? You asked. Where am I? You died, I said, matter-of-factly. No point in mincing words. There was a truck and it was skidding. Yep, I said. I died? Yep. But don't feel bad about it. Everybody dies, I said. You looked around, there was nothingness, just you and me. What is this place, you asked? Is this the afterlife? More or less, I said. Are you God, you asked? Yep, I replied. I'm God. My kids and my wife, you said. What about them? Will they be all right? And that's what I like to see, I said. You just died and your main concern is for your family. That's good stuff right there. You blah, blah, blah. And it goes on. But, I mean, it's got a startling revelation about just the nature of humanity and who God is. And it's such a good story. But the egg, look it up, man. It's not a long story. You can seriously have the whole thing read in just a few minutes. And I promise you, I got goosebumps now just thinking about where it goes. It's such a good story. And it's just simple, too. It's not like I'm saying, it's just the idea behind it. It's just really, really good.
Yeah, man, I might read that this week.
You could have it read in a few minutes. Like it's really is a short story, but it's so good. Yeah. So good. I don't want to spoil it for you.
That stuff happens. Like I almost got plowed into just a couple days ago, and I'm not saying it would have been fatal, but it would have been a nasty.
Now, being it's you,
wreck.
I have to ask, being that this is you, when you say you almost got plowed, are we talking sexually or are you talking about like you almost got hit?
Well, both, but not like somebody ran a stop sign, man, and like I was braked and swerved and all this, that, and the other. And like I said, I don't know that it would have been fatal, but it definitely would have been nasty. I don't know that I'd be at work
you made it out of there, all right.
So, yeah, it just, the blink of an eye, man, you can be in front of your maker. If there is a maker.
Life changes really quickly.
I almost got ran over mowing the grass one day. As I got the where my fence ends in the front yard. I got that strip of grass right there at the road. I was mowing. I had my back to oncoming traffic, and I turn around and that car is right in front of me. It just swerves just in time to not run me over.
I also live in a neighborhood, so I mean I feel you. Like whenever I'm cutting grass or weed eating or something, like I'm always cautious because I'm always like, man, people just come flying around that corner and somehow just hit and kill me.
Just die mowing grass, something I hate, and that's how I go out.
Would that mean you'd go to the Beetlejuice waiting room, like sitting on a lawnmower or holding a lawnmower, and it's like, welcome to your afterlife. You're going to continue doing what you were doing when you died. No. It's like my dad's an electrician, and we joked, and we're like, we're going to bury you with some electric tools. And my dad's like, bullshit. And he was like, I hate what I do. I'll be damned if I've done it my whole life just to die and keep doing it. But I throw like a beer and some music or something in there, But I guess it's going to wrap it up for us, unless you got anything else you want to talk about, JP.
The only thing I'll add, man, you talking about burying your dad with some tools. I know one of the earliest like human skeletons they found with like tools that the family or whatever had like thrown in this pit with them, So that's definitely something people have been doing for an awful long time.
And some cultures did it because they thought you needed these tools in the afterlife, like to maybe navigate or just like you're going to live a whole nother life. But I don't know, man. What is life and death and after and all of that? Like, it's just, I love the conversation, man. Like, I love the thought just of what's, what's after death.
And as we said, I mean, we're getting things rolling on a paranormal podcast for that stuff. We got the woke conspiracy stuff podcast. Like, it really is coming together. We're putting together some ideas. So some cool stuff coming down the pike.
Our pal Jesse literally texted me this morning and asked me, could we podcast this afternoon / tonight?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think she'd be great for the paranormal stuff.
Oh, yeah. She's got more ghost stories. She's very receptive to ghosts.
Because at first we were thinking about her for the conspiracy stuff, but I think she'd be a little more suited for the paranormal.
Oh, yeah. Well, she really, she believes in it, and she's had a lot of experiences, so she would be more suited for that, whereas I don't really think she dives into conspiracies like talking about.
No, she'd just be giggling at me. That's it.
But you make me giggly at you.
Yeah, but we can't have two people giggling, and that's
true. You can't have too much giggling.
No.
It just ruins it for everybody. So before we go, let's give that social media information. JP, let them know how they can find you.
All right, Periscope, jpslim, simple as that. Instagram, which I need to be using more as well, J_Ratsaw, Jasper Ratsaw, that's my pen name, and boxes and cans, .wordpress.com. If you want to read a couple blogs I did, why not throw that in there too?
There you go. You can find me on all 3 social media platforms, Periscope, Instagram, and Snapchat. I use Instagram and Snapchat quite a bit. I don't use Periscope as much as I should, but I do plan to. I've been saying that for like 3 months, but I do. And it's easy to find. I'm Justin Lloyd, all lowercase, no apostrophes, no spaces, just I'm Justin Lloyd. That will find you all 3 of those. And also go give our Podcasting Dead Facebook page a like.
And like we mentioned earlier, Matt Crowder, me and JP, it's on YouTube. You can download it anywhere you stream music. Matt Crowder, me and JP, beautiful song.
Yeah, check it out. It'll be stuck in your head forever. And I think that's about it. We're on SoundCloud, CastBox, and we're supposed to be on Spotify, but we're having a lot of trouble with that. So hopefully something will work out with our RSS feed before long. But in the meantime, we'll catch you tomorrow for Mail Call. I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.